Hey Bears fans, back in studio today, but you know what the deal's been. A lot of videos coming your way. Show some love, rep your squad, type bear down in the comments. You can either type the words or you can use the emojis that you see above. I don't really care, but let's get the bear downs flowing in the comment section. A lot of positive vibes around this team and this offseason right now. So let's get the bear downs going and let's get you caught up on the latest Bears rumors around the coaching staff. You're watching Chicago Bears Now. I'm your host, Harrison Graham. Appreciate you guys for clicking on this video and for rocking and rolling with us here on this channel. Okay, more coaching rumors, could be news soon. Alan Williams, I think it's pretty safe to say he's going to be the Bears defensive coordinator. Multiple reports, starting with Tom Pelissero, reported that the Bears are targeting Alan Williams to be the next DC. He's been with the Colts for the last 4 seasons, just like Matt Eberflus, as the safeties defensive backs coach under Eberflus since that 2018 season, like I mentioned. And what I like about Alan Williams, although the stint wasn't great, he has been a defensive coordinator before with the Minnesota Vikings in the NFC North from 2012 to 2013. Tom Pelissero had the news or the story earlier today that the Bears were targeting safeties coach of the Colts, Alan Williams, as their next defensive coordinator. Interview process still ongoing, but Williams, the one-time Vikings defensive coordinator, is a logical fit to follow Matt Eberflus from Indianapolis. Eberflus clearly trusts Williams. He's coached with him for each of the past 4 seasons, and this makes sense, right? Now, what I do kind of think with Eberflus, if he brings one of his guys over from Indy to be the DC, that does lead me to believe or to wonder if Eberflus will call the defensive plays. And if that's the case, it makes sense to bring in a guy he trusts from Indy, give him a title bump and a pay raise, but Eberflus will still be in charge of the defense. Who is your dream defensive coordinator? Maybe you don't want Alan Williams. Maybe you want somebody else. I know there's still a few Lovie Smith truthers out there. Let me know down in the comments. Who would you like to pick if you could have any defensive coordinator out there? You look at Alan Williams' NFL experience. He's been in the NFL for about 20 years now. He was a part of that Monty Kiffin staff, Tampa 2, cover 2 back in 2001 as a defensive assistant. And he's had 2 stints with the Colts, defensive backs coach for a decade. Then he got that DC opportunity in Minnesota. Year 1 went pretty well. Year 2, the defense fell off. Then he got let go there. Goes to Detroit as a defensive backs and safeties coach, and he's held that position in Indianapolis for the last 4 years as well. What I like is a couple of things. 1, defensive coordinator experience. 2, NFC North experience. He's been with Minnesota. He's been with Detroit fairly recently. He knows this division very, very well, and I think that's valuable when you bring in coaches, guys who know some of the personnel in that division. So I think that's a positive. I think there's a greater than 90% chance that Alan Williams will be this team's next defensive coordinator. The only question then would be who will actually call the plays. Will it be Eberflus or will it be Williams? Would you be cool with Williams as DC? Type Y for yes, type in for no. I'm fine with it. Eberflus trusts him. You want to bring in guys that you trust that are good, experienced coaches, and Williams fits the bill of all of that. So type in my Y for yes. Maybe it's not a home run hire, but if Eberflus runs the defense, it probably doesn't need to be, a Vic Fangio type anyway, someone with that stature. Now, please subscribe to the channel because we've been plugging out videos, multiple videos per day for most of the last 3 or 4 days here on this channel. We had you covered last night from my house when Luke Getsy got the offensive coordinator gig. We covered the Ian Cunningham news and more coaching rumors as well. We had you guys covered when Ryan Poles, Matt Eberflus got hired for the Chicago Bears live shows, videos on demand, daily videos with the latest Chicago Bears news and rumors. Don't miss any of it. The link is down below, youtube.com/BearsNow. Thank you guys for 41,000 subs. Trying to get to 42K as soon as possible. Let's keep it moving here. Rod Marinelli, could he be the defensive line coach in Chicago from Las Vegas? I think that is a possibility at the end of the day. Rod Marinelli is a guy that's been in this league for a very, very long time. Matt Eberflus has a ton of respect for Rod Marinelli. The two spent 5 years together in Dallas, and while Rod is over the age of 70, I think certainly he is a guy that could still offer a lot to a coaching staff. He's been with the Raiders the past couple of years. as the Raiders defensive line coach. We shift back to Marinelli here as a potential addition to this coaching staff, and I think there's a couple of options that you could go here if you want to bring in Marinelli. Number one, he could be your defensive line coach, or I should say, he could be like a senior advisor as well, kind of like Mike Pettin was last year as a senior advisor, a guy who's been a head coach, a guy who's been a defensive coordinator. Rod Marinelli's done a lot of things in this league. I think he would be a good resource for a guy like Matt Eberflus, who's becoming a first-time head coach. I like the idea of it. I didn't love the idea of him as a defensive coordinator candidate, which had been rumored, but I do like him as a potential defensive line coach and or advisor. Now, today's show is presented by BetUS, the best sportsbook partner in the game, and it is Championship Sunday, and if you want to go bet on those games, go do it by going to chatsports.com/Bears and use our promo code BEARDOWN to get a 125% deposit bonus. Plus, if you're a first-time customer with BetUS, if you haven't yet created an account, we're bringing back our jersey giveaway opportunity. Follow these steps. Take a screenshot of this graphic so you can remember it very easily. Chatsports.com/Bears, promo code BEARDOWN. Got to deposit a minimum of $100. You'll get that 125% deposit bonus. Then place a bet on any game. One of the championship games, NBA game, doesn't matter. Once you do that, email us, jersey@chatsports.com. We've got these Navy Justin Fields jerseys in stock right now, ready to ship out your way. We'll get your address and get your jersey size and get you hooked up with a brand new jersey. Chatsports.com/Bears. Email us, jersey@chatsports.com. You look at Marinelli's NFL experience. I mean, he's been in this league for the greater part of 30 years. Also a part of that Tampa Bay staff under Monty Kiffin. Again, all these, you start to see who they're hiring, and you're like, oh, these guys have crossed paths at some point, right? Back in late 90s, early 2000s, he got a head coaching opportunity with Detroit. Did not go well, but as a coordinator and defensive line coach, he's been great for a long time. Actually coached with the Bears, was D-line coach in 2009, got promoted to defensive coordinator, held that job through 2012. Same deal in Dallas, 2013 to 19, and then he got the Raiders defensive line coaching job in 2020 and has done that for the past couple of years. Rod Marinelli's done it all in this league. He's been a head coach. He's been a defensive coordinator. He's been an assistant, a position coach. He's seen it all. He's done it all in a lot of different places, and he's been an asset everywhere he's been. He is highly respected. I think if you got him in here as a defensive line coach and or an advisor to Matt Eberflus, that would be tremendous. This is a guy that Eberflus learned a lot from during his time in Dallas. Should Matt Eberflus hire Rod Marinelli? Type H for hire, type P for pass. I'd like to see it. I think it'd be a nice addition. Obviously, some of this stems off of what happens with Vegas. Looks like they're going to hire Josh McDaniels, so unclear if Marinelli would remain on that staff, but he could obviously still be in the fold there. Let me know, should Matt Eberflus bring on Rod Marinelli? Is Luke Getsy, who we just mentioned, officially official as the offensive coordinator, could he bring in Davante Adams, who is a free agent this offseason? Obviously, he could return to Green Bay, but I think there's a lot of interesting parts here. Number one, Davante Adams actually credits Getsy for a lot of his development. Getsy was the wide receivers coach in Green Bay for a couple of years before shifting to quarterbacks. Adams obviously available to sign this summer. Now, there is a report that Adams wants $30 million per year. Now, I don't think he's going to get that, not because he's not the best receiver in the league. I think he, very much is in that conversation. He's top 3 for sure, but $30 million's a lot. DeAndre Hopkins is the highest paid at $27, and that's kind of an outlier. The next closest is like $23 million. I could see Adams get like $25, $26, but $30, that's a lot of money at the end of the day. Now, he's obviously tremendous, had over 1,500 yards and 11 touchdowns last year, and this is the type of seasons he's had year in and year out in Green Bay. He's that good, but that's a lot. You give him $30 million, that's taken up 75% of your projected cap. I mean, you're looking at somewhere between $40 and $45 million, once free agency gets going for Chicago. And the Bears are going to have to, add other pieces too. It's not like, you add Davante Adams and your whole roster is fixed. Like, you've got other needs. Obviously, receiver's a big one, but I expect offensive line to be a heavy emphasis for this front office. You need another corner. You probably need another linebacker. Like, there's other spots you have to fill. So if you give Adams $30 million, that's great. That helps your offense. but it doesn't help everything, and I think that's going to be a tough sell for the Chicago Bears. If I could get him at 25, would I do it? Probably. 30, that's going to be a tough one. How much would you give Davante Adams per year? Let me know in the comments. Maybe you would give him $30 million per year. I guess I could do it if it was like a 2-year deal, but I couldn't give him like $5,150. That's a lot of money for Davante Adams. Let me know down in the comments how much you would give Davante Adams. All right, they're moving toward this, by the way. Brad Biggs tweeted this out last night. If Josh McDaniels becomes the Raiders head coach, which looks like that's happening, they're also going to hire Dave Ziegler as GM out there in Vegas. Name to watch is Sean Desai as defensive coordinator in Las Vegas, who did a pretty solid job last season. I hope Desai gets a defensive coordinator job. I think he's worthy of it. I thought he did a damn good job with what he had with the Bears, and I thought he learned week in and week out on the job last year. And by the end of the season, this Bears defense was cooking again, and I thought he was a worthwhile candidate for these other teams. Now, he's more of a 3-4 guy, which is why Eberflus isn't going to keep him, I believe, but I hope he gets a chance. We'll see what happens out there in Vegas, and we'll see what happens with Desai. I have read that none of Matt Nagy's coaches are expected to remain on the Bears staff, so take that for what it's worth. Okay, we're going to sign off here in a moment, but follow me on Instagram at HGramNFL. Just crossed 2,000 followers. I appreciate that. Had fun doing IG Live on Friday. We'll cook up another one of those sometime in the next couple of weeks as well. Slide in the DMs. I'm an open book. Always down to talk some Bears football. It's at HGramNFL, and we'll see you soon when there's more updates.